All right, something I wanted to come back in and kind of say, which I did not say outside in the video, was just that it can get a little bit graphic. You know, we are making an incision in a live animal. Yes, there's blood. You know, it's not a lot as compared to this. It could be, but if you're squeamish or, you know, it's just not your thing, then don't watch this video. That's what I'm gonna just leave it at, okay? But if you want to learn how to handle these things on your own, then let's get to it. Alright, so I'm kind of bummed that I get to make this video, but I figured it would be a learning lesson for everyone out there. So, first I'm gonna say, you don't think that someone should learn to do this on their own and treat rabbit abscesses on their own, then we're not interested in your comments, okay? If you want to go spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars at a vet, you go do you. But it's not as hard, and it's not easy, but it's not hard either. It's very doable. And especially if you have multiple rabbits, you know, you're going to run into those situations where you have to do it. Like, you know, the local vet, like I found out a couple months ago, trying to get our one dog in, they're weeks or months even booked out, so you're going to have to do it yourself if you don't want to have your rabbit possibly even die from having the abscess. So rabbit abscesses are almost as thick as like a dried toothpaste. So if you left the end off the tube, it gets very dry and thick. That's pretty much the consistency of a rabbit abscess, and so it's something that you're gonna learn it. I mean, I hope you don't, but if you have to, your best bet is to, when we're gonna make the incision, you go quick, you make it bigger instead of trying to force a large chunk of something out of the incision, okay? I'm going to show you the tools in a minute, but the other thing that if you have to deal with it with your rabbit is to try and do it on a cooler day, if at all possible, because you are stressing them out. And if it's, you know, 90 degrees or more, and you're also trying to keep a hold of them and bundling them up with, whether it's in a towel or whatever, on top of the stress, you don't want to overdo it. If you want to take them into your home where the air conditioning is, you could, you know, do that as an option to kind of just make everybody a little more comfortable. So yeah, whichever works best for your situation. Some of the ways that you, or the places that you need to check for an abscess for your rabbit is bucks are going to be your biggest contender, because they have, and all rabbits have it, but they have scent glands under their chin, and so when they're rubbing their chin on stuff, we don't smell it, but other rabbits do, and so they are marking their scent on things. But even if it's just the teeniest little prick that you may even not even be able to see where the entry point was, they could still end up with one. And so you just need to check under the chin for the most part, which is where the buck that I found has his. Not that I found him. We're losing little tree babies. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. The little helicopter seed thingies a lot. So you see one. Oops, sorry. But checking under their chin for it, and that's where the buck that mine is, you know, where he has his. That's the most common place, but you could check the feet. But honestly, if your rabbit is of good quality, they're not going to have any feet issues. But just, you know, anytime you feel your rabbit, you feel a lump, then check it. It's feels almost like a hard pea size or bigger. Usually it's in a little bit of a ball. All right, so I'm going to turn the camera around, and then I will show you the tools I'm going to use, and everything will be linked below if you want to buy some of it or all of it. Just kind of have it at the ready, especially if you have multiple rabbits. You're going to run into it at some point. All right, you want to be able to have a working space. I'm over here by our picnic table. I have a table in the rabbitry, but this one is hopefully going to be away from lots of yard sound. But a junk towel to be able to, one, lay it over your lap, to, you know, help you get a better grip on them and wrap them up tight, because, you know, they're going to feel more secure that way. If you have gloves to where you can, you know, just be wearing them while you do it, yes, also it's an infection, but when you're not worried about, you know, getting anything on you, you are more likely to be able to do it quicker and just get it done and over with. If girls or long-haired fellas grab something to hold your hair back, you don't want anything slowing you down. Now, this is twofold. I like lavender oil, hands down, for anything way better. I will, once it's cleaned out, drop, you know, several drops into the incision or the pocket where the infection was. And then if necessary, I will pack this in there too. You want very sharp scissors to be able to cut all the fur off, and then a buzzer to get it, you know, as much of that off as possible, because if you don't, the infection, you know, what you're trying to clean out could very easily get stuck in the fur. You don't want any reason for bacteria to stay close to the rabbit, okay? Then I buy this, and this is very common in the show world when it comes to tattooing, and so it's a numbing spray for, really honestly, it's like a beauty one. It's for people, so for waxing, I don't know anything about tattoos, possibly they do that, I don't know, but anyways, this one's my favorite, and I use this for the tattooing and anytime we have an injury that we need to work on as well. Then this, again, I would only do it if the area, you know, is bleeding a lot. I don't like the idea of this getting in the skin too much, but the gel blood stop works hands down way better than the powder. And then the not so fun part, but X-Acto blades do the best. All right, this is the best angle I can get with how I am sitting and the way all of it works. So I'm sorry for the offsetness, but this is what we got to work with. All right, so this is the unlucky dude who has the oops. So I'm gonna take the towel, and I want it to go over my legs, but I'm going to lay it over top of him just because we have a little space. And then he is a big boy, so I'm going to flip him on his back. So I want his face to be facing me, and then when I flip him back, he's upside down, okay? Rabbits chill out and almost, I don't like the trance word, which is kind of dumb in my opinion, but they relax a lot better. And then I'm gonna wrap him up to protect me and him. And then what I'm gonna do is feel for where the abscess is, and then push it up to where it seems to get to the surface the best. So it's not huge, but I can feel it under here. So see, his skin's kind of thin here anyways, so that's probably the area that he bit himself, poked himself, who knows what he did. But I want to get that out before it gets any bigger. So I push it all the way up to the top. This fur is thin enough that the buzzers should be able to get it. So I'm gonna just buzz all the fur off. Because like I said, I don't want any of it to, and you don't have to keep holding it to the surface, you know. You can get a little bit more hair than necessary. Because we want it to be as clean as possible. Now, I would like a little bit more. There we go. Kind of keep rolling it with your fingers if you have to. All right. There. Now you see how the skin almost turns white as I push it up there? So while yes, you know, I am surfacing the incision and kind of pushing the blood circulation away a little bit, you know, that tells you that there is some infection under there, okay? So that is the area I'm going to take the numbing spray and spray it, and I'll let it sit for just a minute or two, not long, but long enough that I know it will work. Now I'm going to push it to the surface again. Try not to spray his nose because that's going to annoy him, and we want a cooperative rabbit as best as possible. Now while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to get some paper towels at the ready because I want them easily accessible. Tuck them under something, but torn and ready to go. More is better than not enough. And then I'm gonna put the gloves on. Now, it's not gonna be fun, but it's for his health that I get that out of there, get that infection. So keep a snug grip on him, and if you need help with someone, you know, to help you do it, then by all means get a second pair of hands. All right, so this is where it's key that I need it to be as close to the surface as possible, which is right there. And I'm gonna try and make an incision from the very end over here, at the very least, up to this point over here, because I want it to just pop out as quick as possible. See, he's barely flinching, which is great. And I'm not even seeing blood yet. See that white? That's infection. All right. Now see how I'm not able to really get it out yet? If I start squeezing and stuff, he's gonna get annoyed. So it's for his benefit that I make it wider, okay? He's gonna be in far less pain if I just get it done. It is a very thick consistency, okay? So we need to make sure we get it out. All right, he's not bleeding too much, but I'm gonna show you what this looks like. It will turn it's like turn out almost white when it's working. So we're gonna put it right on top. He's not bleeding that much. Now, that when I was done, it was like completely like red inside, okay? I don't want to see any like white or creamy type stuff, okay? So we're gonna let that sit a minute. He's been really good, so we're gonna see if we can get this off. All right. Now that's working pretty good. Now, I'm gonna just drop some of this around it and I will check on it tomorrow. Because if I wipe that off, it's going to start bleeding again. We're almost done, buddy. All right. This is another reason why we want to shave them, because their fur gets into everything. So I'm gonna drop a few drops in there. And lavender is a good, you know, fights infection. All right, we let it sit for a little bit. Now I'm flipping back over. All right, bud. There you go. All right, so I'm back inside in a little bit better of a talking environment, just because the road we live on, and I know I say this a lot in my videos, but it's a little loud to be, you know, trying to describe stuff outside. So the one thing I wanted to come back on and just kind of caveat was that was very minimal blood, and I know that can kind of be a little fearful and unnerving to some people, and so, you know, it can look a little bit rough sometimes, but, you know, I mean, as long as you're not coming back here and getting the jugulars, you know, the really important vessels, you know, you're gonna be able to do okay. And so that was, and one of the core reasons why I push the infection up to the top is so that I'm not just going, you know, so that I get as small of an area as possible, but I'm also making it wide enough to just get that infection out and, you know, run into very minimal issues. Okay, so, you know, like I said, it's a little bit scary, and it takes, I don't want you to have to practice, but sometimes it takes some time to get what feels like good at it. Some things that we tried early on, because I've had this breed for 13 years, I believe now, since 2009. So however long that will be by the time you're watching this, some of the things that we did try that didn't work was, you know, trying to inject Epsom salts into that area to kind of soften it, to make it easier to get out. It doesn't work. Just make the incision wider enough to just pop it out, and it should come out pretty easily, okay? So it sounds like a good idea to, you know, maybe not have as large of an incision, but, and really, it was so minuscule, like it was 1/4 of an inch, maybe. It probably was closer to maybe a 1/2 an inch, but it wasn't anything drastic. So just don't get freaky about that, okay? So yeah, just keep trying, you know, and if you're not capable of doing it, then that's totally fine. If maybe you know someone, you know, if you know that your rabbit has an abscess, then, you know, see if you can find someone else that will help you do that.